Hello, I'm Kylabursey and welcome back to Hikylabur, where I'm realizing my potential while protecting my mental. Thank you for showing up today as I continue to invite you to feel real still. Feel all that you are, show up as your authentic self, and let's be in the present. And may my words touch you in the ways that they may. Happy Black History Month. I brought the throwback out. Last episode was the last one for a while with a protective style because it's time to embrace my roots literally and embrace how I've grown in my self-love with my natural self and my hair. I'm so grateful for it, and I'm so grateful for the journey that I've been on. I've done 2 big chops, meaning I cut all my hair off twice. So I'm so grateful that it's growing healthily and I've just embraced it along the way, and it's finally getting to a point to start flourishing, and I just can't wait for the fro to get bigger and bigger. So I hope you can continue to see that process as I continue to record and document my mindset. The Hikylabur mindset is how I've viewed this process, and even if I look back, I'm going to be so happy that I've made this time capsule for myself in my last semester of my college journey to see how I've thought along the way, how I've transformed, how I've grown. Speaking of transformation, I am in a season of new things, new feelings, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. But before I do that, let's give you a recap on the previous 3 episodes where I've been going along through each year of college, taking out a lesson and formatting some type of encouragement around that. The first one was Eagles Fly Alone, my friendship struggles throughout college, of how I have found peace with the friend within, and encouraging you all to do the same. It's okay if you're not social. It's okay if you are going through a moment of isolation, because that's sometimes where the truest friend, the most deepest love is discovered, and that's where you can't create anything if it doesn't start from within you. Creation can't be free. What is it? Energy can't be created or destroyed. So creation is already done. So keep that energy right and get right with you first. The next episode after Eagles Fly Alone was Beautiful Uncertainty, as I reflected on my sophomore year, my golf journey, how I navigated the space of depression after putting my worth in a sport and other people to give me the validation to pursue my professional golf career. And I didn't understand the value of process, the beauty of process, the beauty of, I don't know where I'm going to be, but I'm going to keep going in the right direction, the direction that feels right to me, and that leads me to artificial intelligence. That really aligned with my junior year and how I did well academically, but I was not okay inside. I was struggling with accepting that this is the life that I'm living, but it really turned out to be that's not what I really wanted to do. And here I am, fully walking into this space of creativity, allowing myself to feel, to be free, to continue to show up as myself. And I'm so grateful that this process is underway, and I'm just going to enjoy it. Each episode, I'm having so much fun making these, and I hope you all are enjoying watching them. All right, so seasons always change. This was inspired by a song by Madison Ryann Ward called Seasons. I'm going to speak the lyrics for you to give you an idea of the message behind it and how it aligns with where I am in my life. All right. Nobody's ever told the winter, move on, it's time for spring. Old man winter's gonna sit right there until he's done his thing. Times ain't something you can push and shove. Even if you think you had enough, might as well turn a song and a prayer to pray. 'Cause they're gonna come, they're gonna go. Might move fast and might move slow. Might bring sunshine, might bring rain. Full of joy, full of pain. But for anybody out there feeling afraid that you're gonna be stuck in the same old place, seasons always change. I was feeling it, so I started to sing. But singing ability aside, let's talk about what she said. I think that's beautiful that she played off the literal seasons. Like, we can't control the weather, so we just have to endure. And I think that's very much the same in certain seasons in our life. Not that we don't have control, but things happen to us that we can't control. So when you're in those seasons or moments that you're in, for example, like myself, where I'm not as excited about school anymore. School has been all that I've known, but I'm in a space which I think is completely normal. I'm about to graduate. I've done a lot of self-discovery to realize that this major may not be what I want to pursue. And notice I stopped there. Maybe not for my entire life. I don't know where I'm going to go after this. And I've let go of that through a conversation that I just had with my therapist. We talked about my season of transformation. And before getting on here, I meditated and said, you know what? I don't know where this is going to go. That's okay. It's beautiful. And by that time, I trust that my future self will navigate it well based on what I do now. But my present self, me right now, I need me. So in this season of transformation, I'm going to embrace that everything feels different. My schedule is a little off. I used to time block, have my study hours planned out to a T, and I've started to set boundaries with myself and say, girl, you can't study all day. I'm exhausted. And this really comes from this summer that I mentioned in episode 1, where I talked about what really led me to starting this podcast, getting my actions aligned with where I'm going. And it was from me having that experience of burnout that led into my the first semester of senior year, where I noticed that, wait a second, I'm not excited to learn about this anymore. And not that I didn't do well and apply myself, but that was a new feeling to where I felt disengaged in my craft and my schoolwork. And I realized that I'm changing. And as the semester progressed, from the TED Talk to going to Florida for the conference to having my first speaking engagement with dinner with friends in Nashville. It's such a beautiful restaurant. If you're looking for somewhere good in Nashville, by the way, Dinner with Friends, they have great non-alcoholic beverages and they crown themselves in their fine dining experience. And I can attest to that once I was there and had the opportunity to speak with them. But the food was great, and I'm vegan, so that means a lot if you have good vegan options. But continuing on, leading me up to the story of my entrepreneurship experience through classes that I shared in Eagles Fly Alone, expressing gratitude for that moment, and then hitting the ground running to go into this process. I'm on episode 8 right now. That feels crazy. It's been like a month since I've started, and I'm so grateful for this experience. But guess what? The burnout has not disappeared. As I shared in Beautiful Uncertainty, that the burnout didn't disappear because as I mentioned, I just had a therapy session before this, and I was telling her that I didn't understand why I felt so down and having mixed emotions about the things that I'm trying to speak positively about and encourage others. But what she reminded me of is that things don't change overnight. When you're going through something new, a season of transformation, you have to give yourself space to feel. And you're not going to get it perfect all the time, but one, this isn't going to last forever. But what does this season call for? When it's cold outside, we need a coat to keep ourselves warm. When it's hot outside, we need to take some layers off because we can be more free. We're happy, we're looser. But in this season that I'm in, I need a coat. I need some warmth because I haven't showed up in school like this before. Last semester, I got my first C in a long time. The last time I got a C was in 3rd grade. I'm not saying that to flex, but I just had put so much of my worth in school for so long that academic success was all I knew. It was like, that's what you're supposed to do. But now it's like, what am I supposed to do? I'm doing this podcast, but then you have that same mindset, okay, if I'm doing something, results are supposed to come. But again, you can't control how they come, especially in things where it's all about the process. And so in this season that I'm in, a season of transformation, that's the update for today in the story, is to embrace whatever season you're in and get yourself the right armor to make sure that you're okay. Right now, what I need some space to reflect. Lately, I believe I shared before that I have a habit of scrolling on social media at times to distract myself, but that takes some inner awareness. I notice, I'm doing it again. What's going on? And not saying that that's a problem, but I want to mitigate that because I don't want to numb myself. I want to tell myself it's okay to feel. It's okay if we don't feel the same about school anymore. You're changing. You're not the same person that you were a year ago. And embrace it. Say, what is the season holding for me? Where am I going? And I'm so grateful for it. It's okay to be in the season that you're in. And I want to answer a few questions. I didn't give a more in-depth episode of where I go into some of these experiences because I wanted to keep this one nice and sweet. And in full transparency, this is my 4th time recording this. I've had a rough recording session today and I'm just showing up and keeping it pushing. But I felt called to share what I have so far and to answer these questions. So one question I've been getting is, how did you, kylabursey, get the opportunity to do a TED Talk? I'm glad you asked. So last summer, around the end of July, I found a flyer on LinkedIn for a TEDx youth event. And I was like, is that it? Is that how you do it? And most often you find a flyer, or you find someone who's looking for speakers. And I ended up applying for the event. I actually found the flyer on Code Crew's profile, and that just attests to the synchronicity of life. I went to their summer camp that helped me follow them. And then because I was following them, I ended up finding that flyer doesn't always have to be that deep, but I like to think about things like that, how things eventually align themselves. And the host of the TED Talk, Miss Ayana Murray, I'm so grateful for her. She hosted the event for her children to have the opportunity to do a TED Talk, and she extended it to the community. And precious me, she gave me the opportunity not only to have a space to speak, but to occupy that space to speak, because that was a rough time for me that semester. And I was looking back at my notes or my emails to get the dates right, to mention to you all around the time that it happened. And I remember telling her I missed the deadline for the draft that was due. And I told her, like, Miss Ayana, I am not okay. And I was also having those feelings of, how am I going to tell people that it's okay to not be okay when I don't have my things together? And I was completely missing the whole part of embracing it's okay to not be okay. And she gave me that space to fully occupy that moment, which led me to accompanying the reason why I'm doing this, is rekindle that excitement in myself to speak to people. And when I was up in front of that crowd, I wear glasses. I'm so glad I wore them because I was able to see everyone's faces. And once I realized that I had everyone's attention, humbly, I was like, okay, I got this. Let me give it to them. And that was one of the most transformative experiences of my life to date. I'd also like to mention that the importance of having a vision and making it plain, because I put it on my vision board in high school that I wanted to do a TED Talk. Fast forward, I think that was around my senior year of high school, senior year of college. Look at me now. I've done a TED Talk, and I'm so excited to continue pursuing my speaking endeavors with high caliber engagements and fully touch the world and within this gift that God has gave me. Fast forward to today, season of transformation. I'm still navigating this space. I don't have everything figured out, but I'd like to share with you the takeaways from today. 1, seasons always change. If you're afraid that you'll always be stuck in the same old way, you won't. But that's the beauty of this moment that I'm attempting to lean into fully, is that this season isn't always going to be here. I'm going to be in the real world soon. And I really want to embrace and reflect on what I'm going through and balance that act of self-love. And that's point number 2. Self-love, what is it? I define it as self-love is the balance between discipline and grace. Notice I didn't say just discipline, because people feel like, oh, if I discipline myself to go hard, to push yourself, to say, okay, I have to get up at 5 a.m. every day, go to the gym, do this. But then what about those days that you're tired? What about the week that you ran out of water, you had to go back home, you had to come back, you had schoolwork to do, you're trying to run a podcast? I'm talking about myself. What happens then? Do you stay disciplined, or do you give yourself the grace to rest, to regroup, to get back on track? And that's where consistency comes in. Because consistency doesn't necessarily mean every single day at the same time. It means, can you get back and keep going? Can you create a pattern of continuity to where you're doing a task, or you're thinking a certain way, or whatever consistency means to you in that moment. I'm gonna keep it short today. Wrap up and say thank you for watching. If you're listening to this on a hosting platform, a streaming platform, please rate it. I would love to further connect with you. If you're on YouTube, thank you for watching, tuning in today. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And you can keep up with me on my socials at Hikylabur. I'm most active on Instagram. I try to post stories as I feel, and one thing I have been trying to get in the routine of is posting my look for the recent podcast episode that's coming out with a post the following Monday. So go check it out. You can see last episode's braid look, and you can also see this episode's afro wash and go. You can also check out hikylabur.com. I have podcast tees still available in all sizes, ranging from small to XXL. So I'd love for your support. I'd love to partner with you all. I look at it as a partnership for you all to support me. I support you and continue to spread light and love. And one last thing, I have an affirmation, and that is, I am grateful. That's it. That's the affirmation for today, is to be grateful. Because in a season, especially one I'm in, where feeling all types of emotions, trying to navigate finishing strong, also showing up for myself at the same time. It's not easy, but I'm grateful to be here, grateful for this moment, and I'm going to take time to feel real still, as I hope you make space this week to do the same. Thank you. I'll see you next week.